Good morning, friends. How's it going? I'm Chase. Welcome to Daily Creative. This is the show where I answer your questions about the problems you're having on your journey to becoming an aspiring or a professional creative. We've all got these problems. It's crazy that if we just shared them, like we do on this show, that you might be able to learn something faster, cut some corners, and on that journey to making a living in life, doing what you love. Yeah, should we just get into it? Actually, before we do, I have a guest. This guest is
I can see him.
Let's just, no, it's okay, it's okay. We were gonna have a dramatic entrance, but we had a miscommunication. So this is my guest. This is Mak Azadi. He's the COO of CreativeLive, best business guy I've ever had the chance to work with. And we've got a couple business questions.
Awesome.
Yes. This is his second appearance, but unless we reverse the shows and we drop this one first, and this is the first one. So pretend I didn't say anything of that, but Finn, you've got the recorded questions over there. I love listening to your questions. By God, keep sending them in. But Finn, what's the question for Mak? Mak with a K,
Chase, my name is Storm from Denver. My website is storm.camera. I'm looking into building myself a big brand, and I'm not sure if I should build a brand over my name, my personal name, or my brand name. I've got a photography website, some workup, and I'm trying to figure out the pros and cons of building a business around yourself and your name or a brand name.
All right,
what do you think?
I'm going to restate that. Should you build a brand around, well, Storm, first of all, hi, I'm Thor.
That's already a brand.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm Storm, and this is Thor. No, wait, you're Storm. First of all, I think that's a great question. Should I build a brand around my name or something else? Well, how would you, what's your tackle? Why am I speaking so funny today? My funnily. Boo, boo. Sorry. How would you approach the answer to this question, Mak?
I think it depends on what you want to do, what your larger aspiration is. So, did he say where he lived? I can't remember.
He's a DJ in Denver?
No, he's a photographer, Storm Camera.
Storm
or something
Camera.
like that.
Oh, Storm Camera.
Is that what it was? So, it was Storm, that much we know.
Yes.
So I think, Storm, it depends on what it is that you want to do. If you want to build a big global dominating brand, then there's not a lot of them that are based on an individual person's name. It becomes harder to sell. It potentially becomes harder to, as you build up an audience. I mean, I think you're probably a perfect example of this, right? So when you were a photographer, you were Chase Jarvis Inc. It was all about Chase Jarvis. Now that you started CreativeLive and we're building CreativeLive, the 100 people that work here are here because of CreativeLive. For sure. And the brand that everybody's excited to build is around CreativeLive.
And it's a different thing, you know what I mean? It's like it just also connotes something that is much larger. And I think building whatever you're building it with the end in mind. Yeah. And by end, maybe it's just have a great lifestyle business, or it's build it up and have, you know, be acquired by Time Warner or something. We don't know what your aspirations are.
Yeah, but I will also say, again, depending on what your aspirations are, I'm not sure it matters a ton, unless you're trying to build, you know, some gigantic billion-dollar company again. But my guess is you're trying to run a company that's successful and grows and helps you live a great lifestyle. In that case, it's like, you know, when I play golf and I want to get new golf clubs, that's not the problem with my game. So whether it's Storm Camera or fancy family photos. As long as you're a great photographer, you've got your marketing right, you've got your, you know, you're doing the work right. I'm not sure it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I'm not going to disrespect the answer. I think there's a lot of wisdom in Mak's answer. I am an advocate of if your goal is to build a small to medium-sized business and you want to keep it focused on the area. Use my photography business as an example in the previous chapter. To me, I think there's something that's very powerful about a personal brand. People like other people. A brand is basically a barrier between humans. And if you're a brand like Nike or Airbnb,
at some point.
Yeah, then that brand can be so beloved, or Apple or any of these brands that I'm dropping their names here, that you can create an emotional connection. But by and large, the ability to connect individual to individual. People like to hire and work with humans, not just sort of the random company X. So, to summarize, if you got massive aspirations, you want to build it up and sell it or partner or some private equity thing, I think a company name makes more sense. If you're an independent artist and you want to stay at and you want to build a small to medium-sized team and make big game-changing moves in your community, then use your name.
Yeah.
That's
Especially if your name's Storm.
Yeah, holy smokes. You can't actually, maybe you're the one exception.
Yeah, exactly.
Storm, just dun dun dun. Awesome. Thank you, Storm, for calling in. Appreciate the question. It is a question that I have heard many times, so thanks for adding value to the show. Finn, we have another question for Mac.
Hey, Chase, how you doing? Thanks for all the inspiration you've been giving. My name is Billy Rears. I'm a mobile DJ. I DJ mostly weddings and private events, high-end events, and everything's going good with that for the last 20 years. The question I have for you is on the back end, staying in touch with all of my clients, letting people know who I am and where I am and whatnot. The big thing I think is like customer base. Like, how do you keep track of all your customers and stay in touch with them? That's what I want to know. The best way of doing that, is it through like your QuickBooks or another software app or something like that? Thanks a lot. Love everything you're doing. Once again,
Awesome.
My name is DJ Billy.
That's a great question. So to summarize, he's a mobile DJ. How does he stay in touch with the people who hire him? It's a great question to think. So just the awareness that's actually a thing is valuable. Well, why don't you attack this one, Macker?
Yeah, do not use QuickBooks. QuickBooks is what you use for accounting. So unless you're planning on sending these people checks, then use QuickBooks.
Yes.
I will say there's lots of ways to do it. You can use software to do it, but probably based on what you're doing, I would say, as a mobile DJ that does weddings and local high-end events, it's personal, man. So there are tools that are called CRM tools.
What does CRM stand for?
CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management or Client Relationship Management.
Yes.
So there are lots of different, everything from cheap cloud-based ones to really, really expensive ones that you'd be crazy to use, enterprise level.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. So here's what I would do if I were you. Again, like Chase said, congratulations on at least thinking about this and wanting to keep in touch with people. Either use a tool or even just use some sort of a Google Doc or an Excel file that says, here's what I did for this person on this date, here's their birthday, here's the name of their kids, and every year on their birthday, send them a card. Or work with something like a MailChimp. Set up an email template that once a month or once a quarter you just send an email to them that's unrelated to you trying to sell them more work. It's just keeping the relationship alive. So it just talks about things that you're doing, things that are interesting in the DJ space, things that are interesting in the wedding space, and so it's like a newsletter just to keep them engaged and keep them thinking about you.
That's super. I love the question because it reminds everyone who's listening that if you're on your way of sort of aspirational, professional, creative, that having clients matters. That's how you make money. And if you're not thinking about how to maintain those relationships, grow those relationships, develop new ones, like where you're going, are you going to go to the trade show, how are you getting new clients? And it's easier to maintain relationships with people who are already aware of you and spending money than it is to go out and try and find new ones. Now, you've heard me say lots of times you're not going to take a $500 client and make them a $5,000 or a $50,000 client, but the constant pursuit of new clients and the maintaining relationships with the ones you have, that equals growing a business. That is how you do it. Mac's dropping like fancy business. You see why we're a good pair here at CreativeLive, because he's dropping like there's established business norms, CRM. You don't have to use the fancy, what are those things called? Not anagram? No, not anagram. Acronym.
Thank you. Yeah.
Sorry, thunk. You don't have to use fancy acronyms, but you do have to stay in touch with your clients, right?
Yes,
Anything
you should.
else?
No. And again, make it personal. And don't make it about selling. Make it about being personal.
Yeah, I think that is a huge thing. People want to work with other people. It is every business. It doesn't matter if you're buying and selling billion-dollar bonds or, in this case, trying to get hired as a high-end DJ. It's about personal relationships. People, you spend so much time in a high-end environment like that, making sure you have the right DJ for the crowd and whatever the event is. And so there's so much about like trust and accountability, and all that is relationship based. So I think an important takeaway, that basically is a little bit of a bow on what Mac said, is that these tools are tools. Just because you have software that will email people when you type in a nice note to them and their email address, and it will send it to your whole list. That does not equate to managing the relationships. This keeps track of the things that you do send, on what frequency, and like Mac said, if it's a CRM tool, like the name of their kid and when you talked to them last, but it does not replace, it's important that you recognize this. Does not replace the relationship. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it.
I can't believe you hit NASA.
Her headphones come flying off. No, that was the camera. I would never do that. I love you. Thank you for the great question. And let's bring another one, Finn. That was awesome.
Actually, that was 2 questions.
Okay, that's 2. That's 2 questions. How did we bring? Oh, you snuck on it. We had an elevator joke.
I'll do the elevator. I'll leave on the elevator.
Okay. Mac's on his way out of here. As he's on his way out of here, I want you to call this show with your challenges. If you desire to have your question on the show, it's 802-962-HELP. That's 802-962-4357. Leave me a message. I listen to those. We have so many questions in the queue that are meaningful to you. Remember, it's not just about having your question answered. That's very important, and we're plowing through these things. I'm recording a lot of these episodes. But it's also about all these questions. There's so many things. This is a shared resource that I expect you to get a lot of value and information. Plus, it's fun as hell. Thanks for being a part of it. Please subscribe, leave some comments. I love seeing people responding to the answers and adding value to, in the comments here. Thank you for being a part of this community. And with that, I'm out. This is an applause thing, and this is my microphone.